Welcome. Good to have you here wherever you are in the world watching this morning. This is pretty exciting. I'm excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. Our first kids class, and we are going to call it kids class because I think children was a little deceiving in that it meant for just children. This is for all kids. It's for teenagers, it's for younger kids, it's for single adults. We're going to be doing basic things this month that they all need to know. I mean, what child doesn't need to know how to make cookie dough, or what child doesn't need to know how to make a loaf of bread by hand? I tell you, my children, 2 of them served missions for the LDS Church, and both of them made homemade bread by hand. One was in Micronesia, Guam, and the other one was in Tacoma, Washington. Tacoma, Washington probably could have found a mixer, but he didn't have one. Micronesia, Guam, he barely had an oven to bake it in. So these are skills that our children need to learn where they're going off to school or off to college. The skill of making bread by hand and the things we're going to be teaching this month are great. So welcome. Today we have a great class, but before we get to the class, I want to talk about how our classes are going to work. So today you really need to you might have gotten a recipe today, but there's some other recipes you didn't get that will be on a blog tomorrow. And I'll explain that as we go along. The recipes for the sauces will be on a blog. But there are some things you did get. You did get an equipment list for the month. Now, every week, right before the day before the class, you're going to get a list. You're going to get the recipes to print out. But now you just kind of have what you need for the month. You have the equipment list, what you need for the month. The most important piece of equipment you need this month is a Danish dough hook. Okay, a Danish dough hook, we have a link on the website where you can go and pick up a Danish dough hook, or you can go to one of those Bosch kitchen stores. They all carry them, or a kitchen specialty store. A Danish dough hook is really just a pretty basic item to have around, and it's something that you will use forever. It's great. This is for doughs. We're going to do a cookie batter with it today, but also for bread doughs, it's fantastic. So you want to make sure you get a Danish dough hook. And if you have several children that are going to be taking this class at the same time in your home, get them all a Danish dough hook. They're not that expensive, and it's something that they can take with them in their suitcase when they go away to college or wherever they're going to go. It's a great tool to have. So this is the number one thing you're going to need for this month is this Danish dough hook. And we're going to show you how to use this. And then you have a list of ingredients, just basic things that you're going to need for this. And we want you, who's ever watching, if it's the adults watching and children watching, we want you to have the stuff prepared so you can cook along with me as we go. That's kind of how this program is going to be, where you cook with me. So let me just kind of explain some rules here. We sent you the rules for cooking. Let's go over the rules for cooking. So these are just basic rules that you should print up and put on the refrigerator and kind of live by these rules. Number one, always wash your hands. Before you start cooking, always wash your hands. Even if you think you just washed them 10 minutes ago, wash them again when you walk into the kitchen. Number two, keep your hands away from your face and your hair. If you do touch your face or your hair, wash your hands again. If you pet the dog or the cat, wash your hands again. Just make that a habit of always washing your hands and keeping them clean. Hands spread germs and disease and things like that around the kitchen, so just get in the habit of washing your hands. If you leave the kitchen area for any reason, when you return, wash your hands, okay? We can't tell you enough about cleanliness. That's so important. And why don't you touch your hair or your face when you're cooking? There's germs on your hair and your face. I mean, your hair is kind of like a filter. It just grabs stuff as you're walking around. So it's important that you always keep your hands washed and clean. Okay, rule number 4, no double dipping. This is a really important rule. You know, even when I cook by myself, I never double dip. I always have a bunch of spoons ready, or plastic spoons or forks on hand. And if you taste something, throw that spoon or fork away, or throw that spoon or fork in the sink of soapy water and get a clean one. Double dipping spreads germs, and it's a very bad habit to get into. Oh my goodness, I cringe when I watch someone cooking and they take a spoon and they dip it in and take a taste and dip it back in there. Oh my goodness, that just drives me crazy. You have to be really careful about that. That spreads disease. If you use your finger for tasting, and sometimes I'll take my finger and just take a little taste like that, wash my hands before I go back to cooking again. That spreads disease. And especially today where we're really coronavirus aware of transmitting germs and stuff like that, we need to be extremely careful. And if you want other people to trust what you're cooking, let them trust the fact that you keep clean. Make sure your area is nice and clean. Always wipe it up before you start. Start out with a clean area. Number 5, and this is the important rule that your mothers will love, I'm telling you. They will love this. The first thing you do when you walk into the kitchen area is you fill up a sink with soapy water. So let's do that. I have my sink right here. I'm going to turn on some water. I'm going to put a little bit of soap in there. And even if you know you're going to wash your dishes in the dishwasher, you don't wash everything in the dishwasher. And it's just nice to get in the habit of having a sink of soapy water. That way, when you use the utensil, just toss it in there. It makes cleanup so much easier. Clean clutter and previous projects before starting a new one. Clean as you go, wash as you go. Nothing's worse than to walk into your kitchen to do a project and it's a mess. So start, before you even start cooking, clean everything up. Make sure it's clean, orderly. Get all your ingredients out before you start. And then have a sink of soapy water. I have my soapy water. I have a little washcloth I'm going to throw in here. That way, I'm ready to go. If I make a mess, I have a soapy washcloth that I can just grab and clean up. And by the time I'm done cooking, it's much easier to clean up the mess than when you just keep making a mess and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I just want to clue something in for you children, young kids, single young adults. You know what? One of the big reasons mothers have a problem with letting children in the kitchen is they don't want to have to clean up the mess. I know, I was a dad. I have 5 children. We homeschooled. Our children did a lot of cooking in the kitchen, and nothing's worse than to go in and have to clean up a mess after them. So make your mom and your dad happy. Learn to clean as you go. And I want to tell you, if they walk into a kitchen after you're done cooking and the kitchen's clean, guess what? They're going to let you cook more, because that's the worst thing about cooking is the mess that's involved. But if you learn to clean as you go, develop this habit as clean as you go, and I'm gonna harp on that all the time during this series, and just help you develop that habit of cleanliness and cleaning as you go, and having the kitchen cleaner when you left and when you got there. That's going to make mom so happy. I guarantee you, when you do that, she is not going to have a problem with you stepping in the kitchen and cooking. It's just the mess that they don't want to deal with. Your moms are busy, believe it or not. Your dads are busy, and they don't want to have to constantly be cleaning up after you. So if you learn to clean as you go, and you're going to be happy when you walk out of a kitchen and it's nice and orderly and put together, and you have a plate of whatever you made there, you're going to be happy too. So, and this is number 6. Always make sure the kitchen area is cleaner when you finish than when you started. This will make mom super happy. And number 7, enjoy the experience from prepping to cleaning up, and especially the food you make. Just enjoy. You know what? I used to hate doing dishes, but then I decided I'm going to enjoy doing dishes, and I don't mind doing dishes. Enjoy the whole experience, from gathering everything together, putting everything together, even the cleanup. Enjoy doing that, because when I'm cleaning up, I just realized what I did. I just prepared a meal that blessed my friends, my family, made people happy. So I don't mind cleanup. That's just part of that service that we do. And service, we know, makes us happy. When we're serving other people, we're happy. When we're cleaning up a mess in the kitchen, we're literally serving mom and other members of the family. So that really makes us happy. So enjoy the experience. Whatever you're doing, enjoy the experience. Okay, print these rules up. I'm going to go over them all the time. They're really important for you. We included in that so you would have them. We want the moms to really be happy about this cooking series. We want them to know that I am going to teach you how to do things. And one of my things about cooking is I want you to feel like you can do it. And you can. Cooking can be very easy. I know there's some cooking shows out there that make it so complicated. I'm going to teach you very simple, easy ways to do it. And if you have questions, If you're watching, you can type in our questions. We always, at the end of each class, we answer questions if you have them, or you can always email me at chef@chefbrad.com and I'll answer your questions. We're going to have contests going on during the month. I'll ask you to do certain things, and if you respond, you might win a cookbook or something else. So we're going to make this series really, really fun. So I was thinking, what can I do to start this series out? Something that would be really, really fun to do. So I have all my equipment gathered up. And one of the first things you do when you cook is look at the recipe and gather everything up you need for the recipe. I need butter, room temperature butter. And if you don't have it at room temperature, just stick it in the microwave for like 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds. When it says room temperature, you do not want melted. Melted butter totally changes what we're doing in today's recipe. I have my sugars, my flour, my eggs. We're doing chia eggs today. I have my vanilla right here. I have my salt, my baking soda. I have my chocolate chips. I have everything I need. Everything I need is gathered right here for me. I'm ready to go. So I was thinking, what can I do for the first class that would be really fun? So I'm going to show you how to put on a cookie dough party. Now, they are so much fun. You know, we all love eating cookie dough. And I remember when my children were growing up, they came home one day and I would never let them eat the cookie dough because of the egg thing. And for a cookie dough party, if your cookie batter is going to be setting out for an hour or so, you don't want to put eggs in it. You don't want the eggs to be setting out at room temperature like that after they've been exposed to air and out of the eggshell, because that's when you're going to get problems with salmonella or other things going on. So, but my kids would come home from the neighbor. One day my children came home from the neighbor and they were like, well, Dad, so-and-so lets us eat cookie dough. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can't be outdone by so-and-so. Eat all the cookie dough you want. Cookie dough, we love cookie dough. We love, and they even have these places now where you buy ice cream and they put a big scoop of cookie dough on the top of it. We love cookie dough. So today I'm going to show you how to make cookies with the Danish dough hook by hand. And then I'm going to show you how to create a cookie dough party at your house. Cookie dough parties can be so much fun. So first of all, let's just make our cookies. So we have our butter at room temperature. And you have the recipe. Now, if you're going to bake the cookies, use the eggs. And if you're gluten-free, especially for a cookie dough party, don't stress about it. Just use any gluten-free flour you want to use, and it will turn out perfectly. Later on, we're going to do a cookie clinic to teach you how to make cookies. That's probably going to be in October. But for right now, this is my favorite cookie recipe, period. I love this recipe. So if you're gluten-free, just this flour that we have down here, 3 cups of clean white flour, use 3 cups of your favorite gluten-free flour. Because with the cookie dough, you're not baking anyway, so it really doesn't matter how it turns out baked. You want the flavor and the texture and the consistency for a good cookie batter. So gluten-free, this works great. And even if you're not gluten-free and you know you have gluten-free people coming to your home for a cookie dough party, make all the cookie dough gluten-free. I mean, you can go to the grocery store and buy Bob's Red Mill gluten-free all-purpose flour. You can buy those and mix it up. That way you don't have to stress about someone in your home not being able to eat because it's not gluten-free. So make it gluten-free for everyone. There's some great gluten-free flours out there. Today, we're just going to use white flour, but most often and when we do our cookie clinic next month, we'll talk about different flours in cookies. I really don't like a white flour in a cookie, but for today, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I have 1 cup. In fact, you know what? I think is what I'll do is 1 batch of white, and then I will use gluten-free flour for the next one. Okay, so here we go. We have our butter. And this is room temperature butter. Now, if you had it melted, it changes the consistency of the cookie. So you want it room temperature. And then to that, we're going to add 1 cup of sugar. And 1 cup of brown sugar. Now, if you have sugar issues, the option would be, and it says to pack the brown sugar. That means literally take the brown sugar and just pack it in there. And there we go. And there's our cup. Now, if you have sugar issues, I love coconut sugar. Palm sugar is great. It's low on the glycemic index. It's something you could use. But this is just, okay, so now we're just going to take our Danish dough hook. And it works great. If you could just see how that just, it is perfect. We just want to cream all this together. And this is a good size of cookie batter for creaming together. It's going to be easy for everybody. And look how this Danish dough hook works. It's fantastic. It's better than using a spoon. Spoons just don't work. But this, the way it's designed, everything goes through there. And so we've just creamed really quickly there. We've creamed together this butter and sugar. Now, once the butter and sugar is together, you want to add your eggs. We're doing a chia egg. You have the recipe for a chia egg. We have our chia egg right here. And we're just going to dump the chia. That's just going to give it texture. And you know what? You can even bake it with this chia egg. If you're not doing eggs at all, you can bake this cookie dough batter. Okay, and we're just going to mix the chia egg in there. And by the way, chia is very good for you. So look how that's just creamed together beautifully. Okay, and then we're going to take our flour. It says 3 cups of flour. So when you measure flour, you can scoop the flour in, and then the way you measure it is you take something straight and just scrape it off like that. So that's 1, scoop it, and then just level it off. 2, then level it off again. 3, okay? And then we want a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of salt. And then on our salt, never pour your salt over a bowl when you're measuring. Always, if you have a pour salt shaker and you can't dip a spoon in, always pour it over off the side. Because if someone bumps you or something distracts you and you pour salt in there, it's really hard to take it out. So I just always make sure I scoop it away from whatever the main thing it's going into, and then I don't have to worry about getting tons of salt in there. Because once you get that salt in there, it's kind of hard to take it out. Okay, and now we're just going to mix this up. Now, this is your foundation. Okay, we have the foundation here. To this, you can add anything you want. We're going to put in our vanilla. And you should measure that. I don't measure very well, but you should measure. Okay, and this is going to come together. It's going to take it a minute to come together. There we go. It's looking good. Oh, that's beautiful. That looks great. If it seems like it needs a little more moisture to it, just add a little bit of water, because the chia egg is water. And so I'm just going to add just a little bit more moisture to that, because I want it to be a little bit more moist. Perfect. A chia egg is where you take a tablespoon of chia for 1 egg and 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. Okay, there you go. That was perfect. Look at that. That's beautiful. Oh. And that our chia is an egg replacement, because remember, we don't want the eggs to sit out. Okay, so now that we have this, now we just create what kind of cookie we want. Do we want chocolate chip? Do we want coconut in there? Do we want white chocolate chips? Do we want cinnamon chips? It can just be whatever you want. So I'm just going to do a white chocolate chip cookie for this one. And I'm just going to add my white chocolate. In fact, this is going to be a really fun one. I'm going to do white chocolate chips and crispy fried bacon. I want to tell you, the chocolate and the bacon, oh my goodness, it's fantastic together. So I have 1 package of bacon cut up and crispy fried. And I'm just going to mix that in there. Everyone loves this cookie, and it's such a surprise to get that little chunk of bacon in there. I just cut the bacon up and just fry it on a medium-high temperature until it's crispy. And then I drain off the bacon fat. And then there we go. We have a batch of white chocolate bacon cookie dough. Okay, so let's just slide this in here. Okay, there is our first batch. Look how fast that was. So now we're going to make one more batch of cookies. We have our nice room temperature butter, and we're going to put in our, well, you know what? I'm going to change this one up just a little bit. I have some I'm going to change this one up just to show you how simple it is to change it. I'm going to use a wheat-free flour, and for my sugar, I'm going to use coconut sugar. Okay, and it's equal. So I'm going to put a cup of this for the white sugar, and a cup of this for the brown sugar. And by the way, this is great for if you're going to bake them too. They're going to be fantastic. Okay, then we have our chia egg, and I noticed last time I just need to add just a little bit more water to that, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it right now. So let's cream this together first. And the coconut sugar, you're going to have a little bit darker cookie batter, you can see with the coconut sugar. And just a little heads up, I don't know if you know where coconut sugar comes from. It doesn't actually come from the coconut. A lot of people think that they take the coconut, that they take this part of the coconut. So this is a coconut that I cracked, and this is a coconut on the inside. A lot of people think that's where the sugar comes from. Coconut sugar actually comes from the tree. So these big, tall coconut trees, they have these blossoms that come on them that forms a coconut later on. But if they get to the blossom before the coconut forms, they put a tube into the blossom, and the syrup runs out of the tube. And they collect the syrup, kind of like a maple syrup tree. They collect the syrup, and then they take the syrup, and they put it in these big wooden beds, and they let it dry in the air, and then they grind it up, and they have coconut sugar. So it really isn't part of the coconut at all. It's actually the nectar of the coconut flower. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so there we go. We have our coconut sugar mixed up. And we're going to put our chia egg in there. We're going to mix up our egg. And the coconut flour is going to have, the coconut sugar is going to have a little bit different taste to it. It's kind of smoky for some reason. And the chia is not going to change the flavor. You're not even going to know the chia is there. Really, you're not going to know it's there. With all the chocolate chips and everything in there, you're going to have no clue it's there. Okay, so now to this, we're going to add our flour. There again, we want to put 3 cups of flour. So this is a 1.5 cup measure. We want to and this is a wheat-free flour. So we're covering all of our bases with this. We're going to mix this up. This dough hook is great. You're going to love having one of these. And sometimes, you know, we have our mixers that we love, but you know what, parents and children, you might go away somewhere where you don't have a mixer and you want to mix up a batch of cookies. We've gotten to where it's so convenient to grab mom's mixer and mix up something. It's really nice to know that you don't always have to have a mixer to make things. I mean, this is something you could just make out on a camp out and bake them in the Dutch oven. There's just so much you can do with this. Okay, so now with this one, we're just going to put some regular chocolate chips in this one. A couple cups. For a small bag, there you go. And here's our chocolate chip cookie batter, which, you know what, I think that's everyone's favorite. It's just a nice chocolate chip cookie. That's pretty much America's favorite. Okay, and we're just going to take that and we're going to scrape this out. Now I'm done with this. Where is this gonna go now? In my sink of soapy water. And all these things, as I'm going along, just toss these in the sink of soapy water. That way cleanup is just going to be so easy. And I'm getting them out of the way, which is nice. It keeps the area clean. Okay, I'm gonna grab a spatula right here, and I'm gonna take this beautiful cookie batter and scoop that into a bowl. Okay, so there we go. This, go right here. This can go over here by the sink. It's kind of big. We'll set it there. Okay, so we have our cookie batter made. So now let's just talk about how to create. And I have my little towel here. Clean as we go. I'm just going to take and wipe this down really quick. Throw this stuff in the sink. There we go. And always have a towel convenient for drying your hands on. Okay, so now we've shown you how to make the cookie batter. So simple, so easy. So now we're going to show you how to create a cookie party. Here we go. We're set up right here for our cookie party. You want to move that over here? For our cookie party. And this is just, I just did a simple setup to kind of show you how to do it. So I just took a couple of pans and turned them upside down to give this a little bit of height. Now you can cover those pans with a little cloth or something if you want, but I wanted the cookie batter to be a little bit higher. And then I just have some marshmallows here. You can have other little toppings. And then the most important thing about a cookie party is spoons. You want to have tons of plastic disposable spoons. And you might want to even make a little sign and put it up, no double dipping. You don't want someone to come and take a scoop of cookie batter, eat it, suck on it, and then stick it back in the cookie batter. So maybe even have a couple bowls set off to the side that say dirty spoons, and they throw the spoon in there. And then you don't have to worry about it. And just be really, when you start the cookie dough party, just tell them, if they're caught double dipping, no more cookies for them, because you don't want people double dipping. And one of the reasons is they might not even have germs, but you know what? It ruins the experience for someone else. If there's someone that's a germophobic or that has a hard time handling that, it's going to totally ruin it for them if someone's sucking on a spoon and dipping it back in the cookie batter. So if they know that you're conscientious of that and that you've told everyone and you have little signs up, no double dipping, everyone's going to have a good time. So we have our cookie batter, and you can do even more cookie batters or cookie doughs. You can do more of those if you want, have all different kinds, because remember, you can make any kind of cookie dough you want. You can put any kind of chocolate chip in there. You can put nuts in there, coconut. You can do peanut butter cookie dough. It's endless what kind. Gingerbread cookie dough. It's endless what you can do with cookie dough. So you can have tons of cookie bowls there, and then you can have your marshmallows and other toppings if you want to dip them. But my favorite thing is the sauces. So the sauces will be on a blog tomorrow, and it's going to be how to create a cookie dough party at americasgrainguy.com. It'll be on that blog. And we'll send out a newsletter with a link to that too. So the sauce recipes will be on there. So let me just go over here and see what we have going on here for our sauces. I made 3 fun sauces for this, for the cookie dough party. The first sauce I made is a marshmallow sauce. And this sauce was so easy to make. It was just marshmallows and cream and vanilla. So there's our marshmallow sauce. And then I made a beautiful caramel sauce. And this is kind of warm, but we have a caramel sauce right there made up. And I also made a beautiful, beautiful chocolate sauce. And we'll just pour the chocolate sauce in this one right here. Oh, and it smells so good. And these can be served cold. I tasted that, so what am I supposed to do now? Wash my hands. Oh my goodness, that's so good. So then you have these different sauces around. You have the marshmallows if you want. So now the cookie party, and you can even do little sauces like this that have them ready where people can just pour it on their cookie dough if they want. Whatever you want to do. Then you just take the sauce, and I'm gonna do the bacon one. I'm sorry, I just love the bacon one. You can just take the bacon, just get a spoon of cookie dough like this. Just take, and I want caramel sauce on that. Dip it in the sauce. If you want some marshmallows on there, dip it in the marshmallows, and look at that. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. Oh, fantastic. That is so good. Dirty spoon in the dirty spoon bowl. Grab another spoon. For another flavor here, I'm going to just do the, I got to try them both to make sure they're fantastic. I'm going to dip the chocolate one in the chocolate sauce. Oh my goodness, that is so good. The bacon one, you really got to try it. I mean, people go, oh, bacon in a cookie. It really, really is good. And here's a chocolate sauce. Look how that chocolate sauce, it's nice and thick and it just stays on there. So you're not going to have dripping going on. There'll be a little bit of dripping, but not a lot. This is going to be great. Wow. Wow. There you go. This is a great way to throw a party, a great cookie dough party. We're going to have a blog all about with all three of the sauces on there for you. They're very simple to make. Anyone could make them. They're really, really easy. It's just melting a few things together, a little bit of cream and butter in some of them. And you know what, this probably isn't the healthiest treat in the world, but it doesn't all the time have to be healthy. I know sometimes people are afraid, oh, America's Brain Guy is going to be a little too healthy for me. I love the 80-20 rule. 20% of the time, we're supposed to really enjoy the experience. And this is one of those 20%ers. So there you go. Our beautiful cookie dough party set up, ready to go. And let your imagination be your guide. There really are no rules. You can put any kind of sauce on there you want. Just have fun with it. Everyone is going to enjoy it. Oh my goodness, it's delicious. So let's answer questions if we have some questions today. Oh my goodness, that cookie was so good. Okay. Okay, so how long did you melt the butter for? Did I heat the butter for? You know, if you're doing it, if I know I'm going to do it, I'll maybe leave the butter out overnight. But if I didn't, I just put it in the microwave for like 10 seconds. You don't want it to be melted. You just want it to be soft. If you melt it, it changes the consistency, especially when you're going to bake the cookies. It totally changes the consistency. And we are doing a cookie clinic next month that will talk all about baking and having success in cookies and how to scoop. And so that'll be a really wonderful clinic coming up next month. How much is 2 cubes of butter? It's 1 cup. 2 cubes is 1 cup of butter. So each cube is a half a cup of butter. Can you go a little bit slower? If I'm going too fast, thank you for that. I did it twice, but yes, I will work on being slow. Thank you so much for that. Did you add soda and salt to the chocolate chip cookie dough? Well, you know what? I'm not baking it, so I'm not worried about it. If I didn't, it tasted great. I can't remember if I did or not. If you're going to bake it, you got to remember that. But if you're not baking it, it really doesn't matter. The salt probably, but the baking soda doesn't really matter. Do we absolutely need the chia things? You can use egg. No, you know what? No. If you're going to do a cookie party, don't put eggs in it. But just don't do it with the chia. But the chia does help bring it together. And honestly, you don't even know they're there. I promise. I did not get any taste of chia in there. They soaked a little bit beforehand. So you need that. You need what it does. The chia kind of binds it together and helps it hold together like a cookie batter should. So I think, yes, you do need the chia. And you can buy chia anywhere. And our objective is try to get some healthy things in. And chia is so good for the body. So do the chia thing. Okay, I answered that one. Can this dough be baked? Yes, this dough can be baked. Absolutely. It can be baked. If you're going to bake it, is let me tell you my rule of thumb about baking a cookie. Always bake one cookie first before you do anything. Bake your cookie first and see how that cookie bakes. If it spreads out like a pancake, just add a little bit more flour to the batter and mix the batter up. And then place it on the parchment and bake another cookie, and it should be okay. So yes, all these cookies can be okay. So Alden asked about the classes. They're going to be at 10 o'clock, and the reason we designed the 10 o'clock time is a lot of the people that are watching are homeschoolers. So we want it to be in the homeschool day. But no matter what time you watch the class, what time you have to watch the class, once you pay for the class, we send you a link. After the live class, we send you a link of the recorded class, and you can watch it whenever you want. And you actually own it forever. So we love that. It's great. My kids are watching at home, and I'm in my class with my younger daughter. Can we rewatch later? Yes. You will get a link tomorrow to rewatch this class today. So if you missed it, that's how all of our classes work on chefbrad.com. They're all live, and then we edit them, put them back out there for you to watch, and you own them. Once you pay for the class, it's yours to watch whenever you want to watch it. How long have you been cooking? That's a great question. I started cooking when I was about 8 or 9 years old, maybe a little bit younger than that. My mom worked as a waitress at night, and she would go off and just say, there's dinner, fix it, and we'd have to figure out. I remember one time she had a big package of pork chops in butcher paper in the refrigerator. She said, there's dinner, and I had no clue what to do with the pork chop, no clue at all. And my dad was so mad when he got home and he had to eat a boiled pork chop for dinner. I just put him in a pot of water and boiled him. He was so mad. And it was like, you know what? I am not taking the blame for that, because you should teach me how to do something. So, and we're going to be, I've had a couple of experiences like that where I've been in a situation where if I would have been taught properly, it would have been okay. Like next month, we're doing a class on biscuits and gravy. And you know what? They're going to love that class and the stories that go along with that. So I think it's so important that we teach our children, whatever age, our children, our young adults, our teenagers, they all need to be taught these skills. They shouldn't be sent out in the world and not know how to do basic things like making cookie dough by hand. Or like next week. Next week, we're going to be making bread by hand. It's going to be wonderful. They're going to love it. And then the next week, we're doing something else by hand. And then the next week. So, and we're going to, all of our stuff is going to be such a way. And the assignment we're going to give every week is to do it this week. So this week, everyone needs to make a batch of cookie dough by hand. Do it. Just do it this week. And that's going to be our assignment for all the children and the youth that are watching, is to, during the week, to do it. Do what we ask you to do, and that way they'll get it down. It's one thing just to watch, but have them do it on their own. And the bread making one, they're going to love next week. It's going to be really fun. What gave you the idea to try bacon and cookie dough? And what are some other unexpectedly good add-ins? You know, I don't know. Sometimes I just come up with these crazy ideas about food. My family looks at me like, what are you doing? I'm not afraid to try anything. One of my other favorite ones is to take, so I'll take my eggs and I'll whisk them up, and I'll put fresh basil in the eggs and blend it, and then add my eggs to the cookie batter with some cardamom or something. That's one of my favorite cookies ever. I call it a basil spice cookie. I'm not afraid to try anything in my cookies, but coconut, all kinds of nuts, berries. There's so many things you could add to cookies and really have fun. You have the formula, and I kind of like to call this cookie recipe a formula. Once you have the formula, you can do anything with that formula. That is my basic cookie dough recipe, that every cookie I create starts out with that formula. These are great questions. I don't have all the stuff, sorry. Okay, well, on this class, we didn't give you everything to have all this stuff on this class, because this is our introductory class. But next week, you have the list of ingredients, gather up the stuff you need, order the Danish dough hook online, or go to a kitchen store and get that Danish dough hook for your children, and buy a couple of them if you have a couple, or even if you're going to cook with one of your children, buy a couple of them. They're like $6 to $7 each, and it's a tool that you will have in your kitchen and use, and you can send it off to school with them or on their missions with them or wherever they think they're going in life. They can take that with them. What do you suggest? Where do you suggest to get the kitchen supplies? Kitchen stores, Amazon works great. What should we prepare before each class? To list in ingredients. Okay, so you will get the recipes the day before class. You will get the recipes, and most of the stuff this month is stuff you should already have on hand. But you've got the ingredient list today of the things we're going to use all month. So if there's something on that list you don't have, now's the time to get it so you're prepared for the rest of the month. Where did we get the cookie recipe? The cookie recipe today should be on the link for today's class. There's the little link that says get recipe. You tap on that and it will go right to the recipe, the kids rules, and everything was on that, and it's in PDF form. So all you have to do is print it out. Will vegan butter go well with this recipe? Yes, I've used a vegan butter before. One of my favorites is, can you reach inside there and at the top shelf grab me that right here in the door, right there, the top shelf, grab me that box. If you're raising your hands, type in the question for us. This one I found is a plant butter, Country Crock's plant butter. And this works just like butter. And it doesn't have hydrogenated fat in it. It's actually a pretty decent product. And I actually like this one. It's great for baking cookies. Hope you got that. What is your favorite cookie? I have to say the bacon one is my favorite one. Do you have bacon cookie recipe? The bacon cookie recipe is the recipe we sent you today. The recipe we sent you today is the bacon cookie recipe, is the recipe. I just added a pound of chopped cooked bacon to that. That's all I did different. And so you have the foundation, just add whatever you want to it. You guys will really love that. And yes, I am on Instagram. It's americasgrainguy.com. I mean, yeah, America's Grain Guy is my Instagram thing. And we also have a blog called americasgrainguy.com where we do some great blogs. And you can find all kinds of classes at chefbrad.com. We do classes. We do 2 series a month. We do a regular adult series, and now we're doing the children's series. So that's our 2 series every month. And we're going to be continuing the children's series through almost to December. So, okay, I think I got everyone on here. Is a coconut cookie recipe on there? No, you can just add coconut to that. Hi, Kelvin Bailey. Okay. Someone asked if Spencer asked if you should pre-measure the recipes. No, I'll make sure we do it methodically slow when we do the bread, and we'll just measure together. Just have your bag of flour, your ingredients on hand, and we will measure together. So that'll be great. Okay, I think we got everyone. Oh wait, here's a couple. Oh wait. Would I have to cook the cookies longer at sea level? I'm not sure about cooking at sea level. I would just bake them until they're golden brown. So I'm not sure about that. And then there's Arya Siga. Whatever those mean, Bree and Bryson. I'm not sure what you're asking there. Arya and Siga. I don't know what that means. Bria and Bryson, but thank you. I'm glad you think I'm cool. Okay. Okay. Sing. Are you singing? Okay. So thank you again for watching, everyone. We're so happy to do these classes, especially for the homeschoolers out there. We love these classes. They're going to be so much fun, and we hope your children learn. We hope you learn, and do it together as a family. This is a great family activity to bake bread together. So just a little bit about myself before we close. I am married. Been married for 30 something years. 34, 35 years, long time. We have 5 beautiful children. My children cooked when they were growing up, when they wanted to. I kind of made that a rule to do. And I have 4 grandchildren, and my grandchildren love to come over. In fact, this Sunday was kind of a heartrending day for my little grandson. He had called me the day before and asked me, he's 2, asked me if he could bake cookies with Baba. And Baba, of course, said yes. And then Sunday morning, before they could come over and bake cookies, he broke his collarbone. So we didn't get to make cookies. he was heartbroken. So, so anyway, okay, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to next week's class, and look at our adult classes if you're interested. Last night we did an amazing night in India. Next week we're doing Mexican food, just some really great classes. And the blog, americansgraindiet.com, there will be a blog tomorrow with all the sauce recipes so that you can do the cookie party for your next big family gathering or single, whatever you want to do. Have fun with it, making your own cookie dough party. Thank you so much. You're all great. Have a great day. This is America's Grain Guy signing off from Orem, Utah.